Hey everybody, can you see my screen? All right, people are joining as I get my stuff together. Marissa, am I showing the right screen?
Yep, that's our blog.
Awesome, yeah. If you have not joined our blog, please do. There's so much content here, but I'll get started. Hi everybody, I see you're all joining. Let us know in chat where you're from and what's going on with you. Garland, Texas. Hey, Rhonda. I grew up right around there. I actually grew up in Tarrant County in Bedford, Texas. But spent some time in Garland. Altoona, PA. All right, you're neighbors with our folks up in Buffalo. We have a Canadian. All right. Welcome, everybody. We're glad to have you. My name's Scott Wayman, the founder and CEO at Kangarootime. And we are so fortunate to have you all join us. Honey and I were just talking about conferences and getting together. Make sure you align some time this year and attend Honey's show or the Kangarootime Bounce 2022. Get out there. Community is so important right now. Just make sure you do it, and we can all be careful and make it a great time. We'll get started here in a minute. I just wanted to introduce myself and Kangarootime. If you're new to our webinars, I always like to acquaint you with our company. We create software for early educators, childcare centers, and we help optimize their businesses. We've just launched what we call K2. It's really exciting. It's the most modern software in the world of early education. And we have a team of designers and engineers that have been super thoughtful about what we're building and how we've built it. So we'd love for you guys to see it. But more than anything, when COVID hit more than almost 2 years ago, we started this webinar series. And we started connecting with thought leaders like Hani. And Hani, I've got a funny story about your name when you do eventually pop on. But hang tight. And other thought leaders. And a big part of the content we create, we share on YouTube. So you can see here, our YouTube channel has hundreds of videos. And you will see Hani featured, you'll see Beth Cannon, you'll see Alida Mechtel, all the thought leaders, Vernon Mason, everybody who has a lightning rod personality and who's a thought leader and who loves on owners, directors, and educators, we bring them on to our channel. So go and join and hit that subscribe button, and you'll have access to all these webinars. Also, again, back to our story around COVID, we started a digital community called KT Childcare Connect. We'd like for you all to go there and join. And every day we have content providers that are telling digital stories here. They're sharing their content. Evelyn Knight, she's such a great contributor, such a great content provider. Obviously, Hani. Oh my God, Hani, look at that picture. I love it. We really enjoy the content that our partners provide. And also I mentioned our conference, Bounce 2022. So if you go to bounceconference.com, sign up for our conference. It is just going to be a blast. We're not throwing the conference so that we can like indoctrinate you in any and all Kangarootime. We're bringing great content providers so that we can share best practices. With that said, I'll get to our content. The star of the show is definitely not Scott Wayman. It's Chanie Wilschanski. We are privileged to have you here. And in fact, we consider this education because it is. You'll get certificates. We want it to be interactive. So in that QA button, if you want to ask Chanie questions, fire away your questions in Q&A. She might ask you, if I know Hani, she's going to be interactive and she's going to ask you to put things into chat. So this isn't a time to just turn it up and go to the refrigerator and make a sandwich. This is a time to be interactive and get better. Your microphones, though, and cameras are off. We can't see you. It's always best practice not to take your computer while on Zoom into the bathroom. I just made that a no-no. But you're safe if you do. Like, we're not watching, we can't see. But just know you're safe with us. But we want this to be interactive. Also, we'll be recording it. We'll be recording and we'll share this out tomorrow. And if you subscribe to our YouTube channel, we will send it, or you'll have access to that. You'll get an alert tomorrow. But Marissa will send this along in an email. So Hani is an early childhood leadership coach and CEO of Schools of Excellence. She offers a leadership program designed to help early childhood directors build schools of excellence. She's also focused on teaching about collaborative culture and creating environments that foster growth of teachers as leaders. Today, Hani will focus on increasing retention and creating a culture of contribution and promotion. This is something that Hani and I have actually done a live on. Hani, glad to have you. Thank you so much. I'm going to fade. Hang on, look at this. I fade into the white, but I'll be here and I'll come back on. Awesome. And we'll close the show down. So glad to have you. Welcome.
Thank you. What's your funny story about Hani? You said you had a funny story.
Oh, yeah. I got a great story. So we have a new employee. Her name is Julia, and she works on our SMB team, our small medium business team. So she's at the office in Buffalo, and she's like, "Scott, that is so sweet the way you talk to your wife. You and I were doing a webinar," and I was like, "What do you mean?" And she goes, "It's just so sweet. You call her honey, like, you call her honey like every other sentence. You're like, honey, this and this." And like, I'm like, "Oh, that's not my wife. My wife is my honey. That's my honey. That's my honey.
That's my honey." There we go. Oh, I love that. Oh gosh. Oh, that's too funny.
Anyway,
tell Mayor. Yeah. Mayor's my husband. I'm gonna go tell him that story. That's perfect. See, this is what you guys are gonna miss. Like, you need to come see us do this show like in real time. Like, we're doing this at my event in Florida. We're just gonna have fun, and then you come to Bounce. We'll do it again. Super entertaining. This is what we do, but we also teach you guys stuff. So, Scott, thanks so much. I appreciate it.
I'll be back. Yes.
Okay.
Take it away.
See ya. So good afternoon, everyone. Thanks so much for joining me here. I always love doing trainings with Scott and just some of the other partners that we have that we're privileged to work alongside, because when we work together and when we collaborate with one another, we always create better schools, better content, better training, better coaching. So today's conversation is about building a culture of retention, building a culture of promotion and contribution. So I want to get started with really understanding the current state of our staffing, the current state of the world, the current state of kind of just what's going on and why we're struggling in these particular areas. So the first thing I want to hear from all of you, again, as Scott said, this is interactive. I want you to share with me, when you think of your staff, right? What is one of the greatest gifts that you're finding in your staff right now? And then what is one of the biggest roadblocks that you're finding in your staff right now? Where are some of the biggest challenges that you're noticing? But first, share with me your biggest gifts with your staff. So let me know in the comments. I know there's a bunch of you ladies and gentlemen on here. Would love to hear from all of you. Let's get a vibe from the audience, because that also helps us recognize that we're not alone. Right? We're all in this together. We all are, excited about similar things. We're all struggling with similar things. And then that's how we can really support one another. So as you guys are putting that in the comments, I want to talk. Julie says dedicated staff. I love that. Yes, we have a ton of dedicated staff. There's a lot of staff that are walking out, but there's also a lot of staff that are committed and dedicated to the profession, to the career. Karen, willingness to grow and take on responsibility, right? Those are the people that are ready for promotion, for leveling up, which we're going to talk about today. So thank you, Karen, for sharing. Erin, their gift is the commitment to the families. Yes, yes. Fantastic. So many of us have very solid infrastructure. Whoopsie. Turn off my sound there. I'm sorry. Many of us have very solid infrastructure when it comes to our marketing systems or our operations, right? And if you use Kangarootime software, there's a ton of just infrastructure and multi-tiered data that you're constantly pulling about what's going on in your center. And data is really important because data informs decision making, right? When we know the data, we can make better decisions about where we want to go next, right? What are the trends? What are the patterns? What's happening in our center? Retention is a strategy that needs a multi-tiered approach to. There needs to be multiple different strategies, and it needs to be tracked and measured in the exact same way that financials, marketing, enrollment, and anything else is tracked. Now, unfortunately, it gets really challenging to track some of these things like retention, culture, management, all of these things, because we get very stuck on the business side of, am I hitting my numbers? Am I in ratio? Do I need to pick up tuition? And those are all super, super important. And please go get training and make sure that you are meeting your numbers and you're running a profitable center. Today's conversation is not about that. Today's conversation is about the human side of running your center and how to really bring your people together, especially in this season. Okay. The reason why we struggle with retention of new staff is because the younger staff that are coming in are not connected to what the organization is doing. They're not connected to, here's how I'm contributing. Here's how I'm part of the bigger picture, right? If you think about young kids, right, and you give them a project to do, let's say they're building a treehouse or they're building something smaller, like just a project in the classroom. They have so much fun in the process of building this thing. Once the thing is built, it's like, oh, great. Yeah, that thing is built, right? But then every time they look at it, they're like, I built that. I made that red line. I did that yellow piece of tape. There's contribution associated with that. We have completely faltered away from building a culture of contribution because contribution by its very nature means they have to contribute. They need to do something, right? They need to be held accountable to contributing. And we are terrified to hold people accountable. There's been a bad rep that accountability means they're all going to run away. And I can't have them run away because I'm already short staffed. So I'm just going to let them continue doing what they're doing. And so we've created a culture of excuses. We've created a culture where it's okay to tolerate behavior or standards or expectation that are subpar because we're afraid we're going to lose our staff. So I want to take a moment, just kind of take a quick poll of the people that are on here right now. And I want you to share with me. Just give me a yes or a no in the comments. Do you sometimes fear to hold people accountable, to, have difficult conversations with your staff? And I want you to be honest again, right? Like I worry about having difficult conversations. Difficult conversations are not fun. They're difficult. They're very, very challenging. And thank you, Tiffany, Julie, Erin. Thank you. Thank you for your honesty and thank you for engaging. It is really challenging to hold people accountable because we are fearful. We are worried about what might happen. There's also a ton of fear just perpetuating in the world right now around what you say, right? There's so much uncomfortability around, oh my gosh, like, am I going to say the wrong thing? Am I going to hurt someone? Am I going to get canceled? What's going to happen to me? And so people are afraid to even speak up to hold someone accountable because what if I say the wrong thing and now she's going to be offended and now I'm going to deal with like all the crazy nonsense that comes out of it. And we work with so many clients that are dealing with a lot of those issues where a director will say something and the teacher didn't like it and now she's suing her, or a parent will say something and a director will say something to a parent and the parent didn't like it and she sent, I don't know, she had like the cops at her door. And like just people have gone off the rails around their kind of volatility and engaging in conflict and the walls and the barriers that they have and the drama that's ensued from it. And leaders are very afraid to say something. I was talking with the director yesterday on WhatsApp, and she's like, at this point, I'm just like, I'll be damned if I do, I'll be damned if I don't. Like, whatever I do, someone's going to be unhappy. Just give me a yes in the comments if you feel that. big capital yes if you resonate. You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. Whatever you do, someone is going to be unhappy with any decision that you're going to make in the center. Yes. Yes. I want to see everyone on here. Like, let's talk to each other here. Let's get in conversation. Okay, this is not a one way. I know that you can only hear and see me, but I want to see and hear you in the comments. Okay, there's a resounding yes that's associated with that. And the reason for that is, right, is that 100% feeling around whatever I do, someone's going to be unhappy. It really creates this paralysis around, okay, where can I just be quiet? Because there's so many times that I have to speak up and someone's going to be unhappy. So let me just try to speak less. Let me just try not to do this, or let me try to make everyone happy in this situation. And when we're constantly coming from a place of trying to please everyone, and you can't please everyone, right? The people pleasing leads to a lack of kindness, because kindness is actually accountability. Real kindness is having the courage to speak up and say something that you're going to risk disappointing the other person, but you're standing in your truth and you're doing what's right for the business and what's aligned with the company's core values. You're speaking up, right? And that's scary. And what we need to actually start practicing more with our teams, and what will actually retain staff, is the courage to take a risk, is the courage to try something different. And we're going to start it with super micro stuff, right? I'm not talking about big things. I'm talking about small things. Hey, bring the sensory bin into the classroom today. Usually you don't do it. I want you to try to do it today. Try and, go outside maybe 10 minutes earlier today, right? Usually you go outside at 11. Let's try going outside a little bit earlier. Maybe that will help with the schedule of the day. Or maybe you go outside 10 minutes later. Just change it up a little bit. Try this instead. Maybe do this way. Maybe this staff meeting, you speak up and you share your opinion about something, right? Maybe you lead this staff meeting. I know you're really good at baking. I would like you to lead, a baking activity at the next staff night out. Inviting the staff to contribute, inviting the staff to contribute, to give a part of themselves to the culture. And by the very nature of contributing, they are risking emotional exposure. They are risking that someone might not like them or might not like what they did. And guess what? There's going to be someone that's not going to like it. And that is leadership. Leadership is standing in the fact that you are going to create a product, you are going to create something, you are going to say something, and not everyone is going to agree with you or like you in that moment. All of you own childcare centers. There is at least one person on this planet who doesn't like your center, who doesn't like you, who doesn't like your product, who doesn't like your curriculum. And there are also hundreds of students in your school who absolutely love you, who absolutely think the world of you, that you are a tremendous leader and you have a phenomenal curriculum and you've built an amazing culture. When you are for everyone, you are for no one. When you are for everyone, you are for no one. And if you want to build retention and you want to build a culture of contribution and you want to build ambassadors and advocates, there's going to be people that are not going to like you, because there's going to be people that are not aligned with that. So let me pause for a second, and I want to hear what you're processing. Let me know in the comments, insight. What are you hearing so far? Let's close that feedback loop of learning. What are you hearing? What are you processing? And then I'm going to move on. I'm going to start giving you some strategies and scripts of how to invite staff to contribute. Laura, it's okay to stand up for what I believe in, even if some people won't like it. Yes, right? And here's the thing. Speak with dignity and respect and empathy. We don't need to speak with aggressiveness or, just bashing people or knocking people over. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about speaking with dignity and respect, but speaking. Don't silence your voice. Speak up. Tell the teacher. We need to have a conversation about your tardiness. We need to talk about this because it's not okay for the children and it's not okay for your co-teacher. So I would like to have a conversation about how we're going to work on coming on time to work. I need to have a conversation with you about meeting deadlines. It's difficult for the office and for the entire administrative team when we're not working in synchrony around meeting deadlines. So we need to have that conversation. You're not degrading her. You're not telling her, you're a terrible person. How come you can't meet any deadlines? That's not how you're speaking. You're speaking with dignity. You're speaking with respect. And she is not going to like you in that moment when you tell her that, because people don't like to hear stuff like that. You know, I always say when the young generation says, oh, give me feedback. No, 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 no. They're saying, give me validation. Tell me I'm doing a good job. They're not telling you, give me feedback. They don't want feedback. They want validation that they're doing a good job. I need to be authentic to what I believe and respect. Yes. Yes. Not be afraid to do something because somebody will not agree with it or like it. Yes. Yes. Okay. Let me hear from a few more of you. Ladies, gentlemen, let me hear from you. What else are you processing? And while you're putting that in the comments, I'm going to move on. Being in childcare is a very physically, emotionally, and mentally exhausting job. When you're in the classroom and when you're with children, it's extremely exhausting. And what happens is we, because the way that our brains are wired is wired to see negativity, throughout the day, teachers are constantly seeing all the things that are going wrong, right? This kid tackled this kid. This transition didn't go right. This kid didn't fall down to, go to sleep right away. This child had a hard time transitioning. This kid didn't end up eating lunch. This kid wet his pants. This thing happened. This parent dropped off late and now the kid's crying, right? There's always something that's going on because kids are moving targets. You can't plug in data and now it works perfectly. Every single day, every hour is a new situation. And so that's really tiring on teachers because that means they have to stay in the conversation. They have to stay in what's going on. They can't check out. And when staff are learning how to do that, they need to learn how to find pride in their own work. When we raise a culture or a community of people that can only be proud of themselves from external validation, it's never enough. It's a bottomless pit. It doesn't matter how much you pay them, how many raises you give them, how many gift cards and birthday cakes and candy bars you give them or lunches. It's never enough because it's a bottomless pit of I'm not good enough unless Jen tells me I am. I'm not good enough unless my boss tells me I am. No, 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 no. You're going to find that you're good enough and you're amazing from yourself. And I'm going to show you how to do that. And so if you're an owner on here, I want you to encourage your directors that when they go into the classrooms to just pop their head in and say, how you doing? Do you need anything? Don't ask those questions. Don't say, hey, how are you doing? Do you need anything? Number one, you don't care how they're doing because if someone really cares how someone's doing, you sit down and you have a conversation and you ask them, hey, how are you? Let's talk. How's your mom? How's your dad? Tell me how your son is doing. When you pop your head in and you have 7 other classrooms to go into, you don't care how they're doing. You're coming in to check, is everyone okay? Is everyone behaving? Does anyone need anything from me right now? Okay, let me go to the other classroom. Okay? And when the director pops their head in, they're going like this, please nobody need anything, please nobody need anything. They're not asking how are you because they actually care. They're asking how are you because that's kind of become the vernacular of how we talk. So when I coach leaders, I tell them all the time, when you pop your head in, don't ask how are you. Pop your head in and say, it's so good to see you. Is there anything that you need from me today to be successful? Do you need any supplies? Is there anything that I can bring to your classroom to make the day easier? No? Great. I'll be back soon. Go to the next classroom because that is being authentic. That is actually asking the question that you want the answer to. You don't want the answer to how are you? You don't want the answer to any of those questions. Ask the question that you want the answer to. And then make time in your calendar to actually look eyeball to eyeball to person in one-on-ones and tell them, I want to have a conversation with you. And in one-on-ones, we have a ton of podcast episodes on this. You ask questions. Tell me, what is something that you've done for yourself in the last 24 hours? How are you taking care of yourself? Being a teacher is a really rewarding and exhausting career. How are you taking care of yourself? How are you nurturing your spirit? What are you doing outside of work? What are some of the hobbies? What are some things that bring you joy outside of here? And if they don't know, what a great invitation to start exploring that. Because the more that you have outside interests And the more you have other things that bring you joy, the more you're going to bring a better version of yourself here. Asking the teacher, who's your friend here at work? There are millions of data points around having a friend at work and how when a person has a friend at work, their level of retention goes up. So use the data to your advantage. Ask the teachers in one-on-ones, who's your friend? You don't have any friends? All right, well, let's connect you with someone. I know that Sarah's in a similar season of life. She actually has a 2-year-old also. I'd love to connect the two of you. I'm sure you have so much in common. Having a friend is important. Friendships are critical to our survival, for our mental health, for our emotional well-being. And work is where they spend majority of their life. They need friends at work. You don't want a bunch of lone wolves. You want community. You want people connected with one another. Well, help them get connected. We've been isolated for 2 years. We forgot how to have eyeball conversation with each other. All right, let me pause for a second. What are you hearing? Again, closing feedback loops. What are you hearing? Let me know in the comments. The reason I do this is so that you're not just hearing the floodgates of information from me, but you're actually taking, okay, this is what I like. This is what I heard. That's the sound bite. This is what I'm going to write down. This is what I'm going to take back with me. Erin, I love these ideas so much. We do a lot of them already. Staffing is so bad right now. We had to close one of our facilities. How do we have time to sit down with so many one-on-ones when we can't find staff? Yeah. So this is like the chicken or the egg example, right? So Erin, the first thing that I would start with is the gratitude matrix. This is the foundation of building a culture of retention. It's episode 3 on my podcast. It's where I talk about really understanding how to build a culture where staff feel seen, heard, valued, and appreciated. The moment you start to really implement that consistently, your retention is going to go up. You're going to start staffing appropriately. So that's the first thing I would get started with. The second thing is I want you to flip the question. So not how can I do one-on-ones when I'm so short-staffed? I think the question is about my reality right now is I'm short-staffed. My value in my company is creating a culture of contribution where staff feel seen and heard. How am I going to do that even though I'm short staffed? How am I going to make time to meet with staff one-on-one, even though this is the constraint that I live in? Right? We flip the question. It's not, I can't do it because I'm short staffed. It's, I need to do that because it's this high on my value prop and I'm going to figure it out. And I'm going to figure it out because there are unlimited possibilities of how you could solve a problem. We become finite and limited in our thinking when we only think there's one way to solve this problem. There isn't. There's millions of different ways to solve a problem. So moving out of that constraint is so powerful, like unlocking yourself from thinking that you can't do something. All right, let me hear from some more of you. One of the other things you could do if you can't actually get in with every staff one-on-one is actually also having them fill out a form and just asking them, what are your hobbies? What are your interests? What is, a talent that you have or a skill that you have that you would want to contribute? When I was a teacher, I would ask this intake to all of the parents in my class in the beginning of the school year. I would ask the parents to share what are their careers, what are their hobbies, what are their interests, what are their skills. So I used to work in New York City. We had a lot of parents in construction, part of like skyscrapers, buildings, and all these different things in Midtown. And one of the dads came and he did this entire curriculum with the kids on how to make bricks. It was phenomenal. It was like an awesome experience. And the dad came to me after and he's like, thank you so much. Like, thank you for inviting me into my child's classroom and allowing me to share my passion with all of these kids. Like, he was emotional. Sometimes we get stuck in this like, well, I can't ask the teacher to do that, then I'm going to have to pay her. No, I didn't pay the parent to come do a class for the kids. I actually don't pay anyone to do that, right? They want to share. It's their passion, it's their excitement, it's their joy, it's their pride, right? We get so stuck on these like finite ways of thinking. I asked one of the owners that I work with, she has a teacher who has a degree in all these different like all these different science things, like around like using oh my gosh, what's using like dry ice and using I don't know, she just had like all these cool stuff, and she had all these cool materials at home also associated with all these scientific experiments, and she did a training session for the staff and how to safely use all these different scientific things in their classrooms. And she created an entire 2-hour presentation. She wrote all of these materials, and the teachers were fascinated by it. And so many of them brought them into their classrooms. And here's the cherry on top. This was a new teacher. She's been in the classroom school for 3 months. She was super shy, very introverted, and now everyone wants to be her friend, right? Here's what you guys need to remember. Running a childcare is like running a high school. Okay? So just like in high school, there's fads and there's cliques and everyone wants to be seen and heard and everyone wants to be validated and appreciated. Guess what? You're running a high school. So yes, everyone is grown-ups, but you have a bunch of women, because it's majority of women, all together in a room, in a building, and everyone wants to be seen and heard and valued and appreciated and validated, and everyone wants to contribute, and everyone wants to be seen, and everyone wants to do something. Give them the chance to. Invite them to step up. It actually makes them excited. All right. So let me hear from some more of you. It's a little bit of a yes, definitely finding out each person's strengths. 100%. 100%. That's what we do in the one-on-ones. All right. So let me hear some more insights, and I'm going to go into, I want to start walking you through some more strategies around retention and creating a culture of promotion. And what does it mean to create a culture of promotion? Mm-hmm. Okay. Hi, Jen. We've tried lots of these techniques and our staff say it's more work. How do you get them to buy in to participate? Yes. So the invitation is extremely important, right? So I'll give you an example. I was talking with a different owner, was like, it feels like more work. Because here's the thing. If someone comes to you and says, hey, do you want a promotion? 9 out of 10 times, someone's going to say no, because a promotion means more responsibility. More responsibility needs more work, right? No one wants more jobs, more tasks, more decisions to make for any money in the world. No one wants more responsibility than from whatever's on their plate currently, right? Let me know in the comments if you want more responsibility right now. If someone were to pay you more and give you more responsibility, would you want more responsibility? Or are you like, no, thank you? No, thank you. Keep everything. No, thank you for more responsibility for anything. No, thank you. Right? So what's important to remember is that we're fighting for survival right now. So many teachers, and anything extra is like, that's going to be the thing that breaks them. But what we need to remember is that inviting people to take on more responsibility needs to be given in a way where it's considered beautiful. Okay. So let me give you an example. When you go out to dinner, okay, and you go out to eat and you order whatever you want, fish, steak, burgers, vegan, whatever you're ordering, okay, there comes a point in the meal that you're full. Now, the waiter comes out and says, would you like to see the dessert menu? Most people say yes. Even though they're full, they're not hungry anymore, they are not going to order anything else from the main menu, but they are going to order dessert. Why? Let me know in the comments, why do you order dessert? Even when you're full, even when you know you shouldn't have it, even though you're not hungry anymore, why do you order dessert? It's good. Why else? It tastes good. Why else? You're tempted to see what they're offering. Yes. What else? Why are you tempted, Julie? Come on, everyone on here has ordered dessert before. I want to hear from all of you guys. Why do you order dessert? You might like what they're offering. It tops off the meal. Okay? Because you had too much wine. Oh, I love that. That's great. Why else? Dessert is different. Dessert is sexy. Dessert is something that's like not the usual, right? Especially if you're in a good restaurant. It's like, ooh, what are they making, right? And amazing high-end restaurants make dessert look like art. It's gorgeous, right? You want to take a picture of it before you even put your like mouth on it, right? Because you eat with your eyes first. So it tastes good. You love the sweet. You love the variety, right? You're looking for something different because we all need variety in our life. We need something different. We don't want the mundane all the time, right? We need to have experiences and adventure and something else that's going on, right? That's why we're seeking that. That's why we go out to eat or go, for a hike or go to watch a show or go do any kind of entertainment. You're looking for variety. You're looking for something different in your life, something else to stimulate you. Well, employees are looking for the same thing. We all want variety, meaning, purpose, adventure. These are human needs. We all want them, and we all have different ways of getting those needs met. What if you created invitations where, hey, you're young, you're ambitious, right? You're in a season of life that you can explore a lot of different things and see what you like, right? Explore. Do you like posting on TikTok? Do you like, being in charge of our social media? Maybe you're going to love it. Maybe you're going to absolutely love doing the graphics. And maybe you're going to try it out and you realize, I actually really don't like it, but I did like the writing part. I would love to be writing the school newsletter. We have to let go of the concept of when I try it, I have to like it right away. And if I don't like it right away, that means I'm a failure. What? Yes, right? They want change, but they don't want to do the work, right? Because change requires risk, and that's a mindset. Change requires emotional exposure. Change requires making mistakes. Change requires failure, right? I say this all the time. People want a zero-sum game. They want to make 100 moves, and they want to win 100% of the time. They want to get 0 outs. I want you to find me one athlete who's only scored goals and never missed a goal. Never missed a bat, never made a foul, never made a mistake, never fell on the ground, it doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. Every athlete, every artist, everyone bombs. That's what makes them successful because they've bombed enough times that they learn and close feedback loops and then they become these superstars. And we've raised a generation of entitled, arrogant brats who think that the first time they come up to bat, I should win. Oh, I tried something. I'm not good at it. Oh my gosh, this is terrible. No, you're not good at it because it's the first time. A little humility. A little humility. Put your ego down. You're not supposed to be good at this right away. It's the first time you're doing it. I tell this to every new employee that I have. You are going to suck at your job in the beginning because you're new at it. You're going to do some amazing things and you're going to do some things that are going to be horrible. And I'm going to be here when that happens. I'm going to be here when the shit hits the fan, and I'm going to walk you through it, and I'm going to sit in that space with you because you are encouraged to make mistakes here. You are encouraged to try new things here. And some things you're going to try and they're going to be amazing, and some things you're going to try and they are going to bomb royally. And I love you both times. Because if you're only winning, you're not trying hard enough. This is a culture where we make mistakes. And we have radical accountability. And do not expect to be amazing at your job right away. When I was a director, I used to tell this to the young teachers all the time. You're going to make a lot of mistakes. There's going to be a lot of days that you're going to want to give up. And that's when my doors open for you. I want you to come share with me the highlights, and I want you to come share with me the lows. There is no career in this world where you're always going to be winning. You are going to have moments that you want to curl down in a fetal position and cry and give up. And I want to tell you that I've had those moments more times than you'll ever think. Just because I look strong like this. This is through decades of walking through hardship. This doesn't just come. You don't just get to be like this. You have to work for it. But it's beautiful at the other end and during the middle. So I think one of the challenges is that we sell the easy card. We sell the easy card to get them in the door. And then once we're in the door, we tell them a completely different story. Oh, this is actually really hard work. No. This is hard work. And we do the hard work together. And we celebrate wins and successes. Right? So one of the first things I want to invite all of you to do is, do you have a rhythm where you share wins and successes with one another? Is there a WhatsApp chat? Is there a channel? Is there a Facebook group? Is there a place where teachers are encouraged to share their wins and their celebrations every single week? We have a Slack channel in my business. It's called #celebrate. Every single Friday, all the members of the team come in there and write why they're proud of themselves this week, what they did this week that is making them proud of themselves. There is a million things that go wrong, but there's a million things that go right. And we as the leaders have to be the people that are closing that feedback loop of, this is what's going well. This is what's going well. Let me know in the comments. Yes, resonate. Want to ask me a different follow-up question to that? Give me a specific example. I'd love to kind of give you guys some more tangible like scripts and things to really walk away with from here. I want you to walk away feeling empowered to actually go have these different conversations. Excuse me. All right, while you guys are sharing, when you're looking at promotion, when you're looking at inviting, teachers to do something else, I want to let you know there's typically 3 types of opportunities that people are looking for, right? Some people are in a season of reinvention. They're in a season of, I want to reinvent myself. I want to try something new. I want to do something different. I want to see what else is out there. They're in a season of reinvention. What is something you can give them that's in a season of reinvention? Some people are seeking a better lifestyle due to a season of life, right? Maybe they just had a baby. Maybe their, partner is going through something. Maybe they just went through a divorce, whatever it is. And they're looking for something different as a result of that, right? So it's looking at your school from a holistic perspective and saying, okay, this person's going through this person's going through this. How can I help each of them, bring out the best in one another, right? This is what you need. This is what it means to work on your business. Okay, this is the definition. Working on your business is working on your leadership and your people skills and helping your team come together. That's what working on your business is. Working on your business is not just about what's the next plot of land I could buy and how can I expand bigger. Working on your business is, how do I make my people better? How do I make my people stronger? How do I make everyone here work cohesively more together? That's leadership. That's working on your business. That's making your business better, right? And then the third thing is, some people are seeking growth, right? They're ready to do the work. They want to do the time. They're young. They don't have a ton of responsibility outside of work, right? They could do it. Great. Invite them to level up to do that. Okay. So let's pause here for a minute and just kind of review some of the things we've spoken about. We've spoken about gratitude, creating a culture of contribution, strategies for retention, how to start inviting people to level up. What we need to remember about a culture of promotion is people need to see that there's a future there. People need to see there's progression, right? Nobody stays in dead-end jobs, because that's exactly what it is. It's dead end. There's nowhere to go. Well, show people that there's places to go. Show people the career path, right? This is one of the big things that we're doing at the Summit of Excellence in Florida, where Scott's going to be there. He's one of our speakers and our sponsors. We're talking about this career progression. We're talking about building legacy, building a culture of contribution, leveling up your staff so they can understand, oh, this is what else is out there. Like, if this is my mindset, these are all the doors that open up for me. I don't have to think in this finite way. There's infinite possibilities. And that's where you get all of your teachers to start thinking like leaders, right? We are at a place in our educational infrastructure where teachers are waiting for our invitation to do something. They're waiting for us to tell them, oh wait, I have to wait for someone to tell me what to do. I have to wait for authority to tell me what to do, because that's been the protocol for the last 2 years. Wait for whatever it is to tell you what to do, and then you can do it. And that is infiltrated into our educational system, and our teachers are now like, well, she didn't tell me to do it, so I shouldn't do it. No, 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 no. There's something called initiative. There's something called risk taking. There's something called own your own development. There's something called trying something, even if I didn't tell you that you can actually do it. We need to bring that back into our centers. We need to start having those conversations at staff meetings, and more of these conversations. Ladies, let's bring this back. It's called initiative taking. You can do something even if I didn't tell you to do it, as long as it's in the realms of our core values and doesn't, violate our mission and our vision. Go for it. Try something different. It might work, it might not work. Take the initiative, right? You have to remember the mindset of where so many teachers are coming from. They're coming from a place of paralysis. I can't do something unless someone tells me to, because then maybe I'm going to do the wrong thing. What's the wrong thing? What, you put the wrong fish into the like sensory bowl? You put the wrong color sand for the kids to play with? What's wrong? What's wrong? So the kid played with purple sand instead of pink sand? Is that wrong? But for young teachers who are inexperienced, who are used to the concept of like, I have to be told what to do, yes, they actually think that if I bring purple sand instead of pink sand, I did something wrong. I made a mistake. So let me pause for a second and let's go back into the comments. Let's close the feedback loop. What is your next action step? What is your next conversation or your next staff meeting or an insight that you are processing so far? Because the goal of trainings when I do them is to disrupt your thinking. Tactics are a dime a dozen. Go into my podcast. I have tons of free content. Go soak in all the tactics that I have there. Here is to disrupt your thinking. Here is to elevate your mindset. Here is to disrupt the way that you're usually thinking and put you in a different perspective and say, oh, I never thought of that. All right, Julie, tell me further. What do you mean by check-in with the teachers? Are you going to schedule one-on-ones and actually connect with them one-on-one? Tell me what you mean by that. Beautiful. I love it. We have a podcast episode on that. We have a download with a bunch of questions that you can ask. Definitely go check that out. It'll give you some frameworks to be able to kind of follow the dialogue a little bit better. Thank you, Julie. All right, somebody else. There's a bunch of you on here. Would love to hear from all of you. The podcast is the Schools of Excellence podcast. So it's called Schools of Excellence. I also have a special resource for you guys on how to create a culture of accountability. You guys could check that out as well. Can anyone be unlocked so they can ask a question, or you could post a question inside?
Marissa, that's a question for you. Can we? I think we can.
You
If
can
anyone
create a
wants to-
poll, I'm pretty sure.
If anyone wants to kind of just unlock themselves and actually talk into
Yeah,
something
raise your
easier.
hand.
Yeah,
raise
that's
your hand and Marissa will twist and tweak.
Because I love jamming with people.
Jam. Let's jam, honey.
Yeah, tell me some of your questions, Scott.
Okay, so for us, so for me, the biggest learning curve has been thinking beyond what what is normal as far as building an organization, right? Like I get challenged. If you were to look at our payroll today, we we make such different bets and decisions on people and on salaries. Um, I'm starting to wonder how I become more fluid with that, how I become more understanding of what's going on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I want to share just an interesting observation that I've made over the last 6 months when it comes to webinars. Engagement has really gone down in the last little bit, and I think it has a lot to do with people are afraid to speak up. People are afraid to talk and share, even something as simple as this, where it's such a safe place, right? Where it's just like, just talk, just share. It's scary. And I think it's really important just to recognize your own self-awareness around, are you someone who shares when you go onto these things? Because if you're not, then your staff are also struggling with doing the same thing, because your staff are a mirror image of you always, right? I always say your kids are you, for better or for worse, right? Like that's just the way that it is. And so just kind of recognizing, like, where do I need to push myself? Where do I need to, ask a question? Like, even if I'm afraid to be vulnerable, even if I'm afraid or whatever it is, like, let me ask the question, because that's how we start modeling that our staff should do the same thing. They should ask the question. They should take the risk. They should try something. Mm. How many directors have the majority of their staff working in your center? Because if they can get free and reduced childcare. You're saying as like the only reason that they're a director?
Yeah, I can answer that, honey. We actually have some analytics on discounts. Jen, this is something we've seen increase steadily. And I had an owner a couple weeks ago tell me she was discounting out about $45,000 a month in staff childcare benefit. And it's becoming a lightning rod recruiting tool, right? Because it has a couple levers. But that number is growing increasingly. And I think if it's part of your recruiting strategy, you should probably start to do some advanced modeling around what your threshold is and where it breaks. And this owner was telling me she has staff with 3 and 4 children that are taking advantage of this benefit, and it's really working for them, so they're leaning into it. But my suggestion would be model out the P&L, make sure that you understand where that model breaks, because again, if you have 40 staff and a majority of them are taking advantage of a discount, I would just really understand the unit economics and what you need to do to offset that. If it becomes, if it starts to happen at critical mass. So if you got 40 staff and 35 of them are taking advantage of it, and the realized revenue value is $35,000 a month or whatever it is, you need to know. You need to know where it breaks and what the contingency plan is for staff. And guys, let's face it, that labor class at 15, and honey, sorry to go off on a tangent.
No, so let's talk about this for a second, because I'd love for you to just answer the question properly, but I just want to just respect the timing of the webinar. So when you're looking at someone who's in there because they have children, right? Like our family has always had reduced tuition because my husband has always worked in our kids' schools because of that, because it creates reduced tuition rate, right? But the thing is that he's also committed to education. He believes in being in the classroom. He believes he has what to contribute to the children in his class. So I think it's important to look at the P&L, run those stuff with Scott or other financials. That's not my specialty. My specialty is that when you invite someone in and that person has 3 or 4 children, right? I have 4 kids. We get 4 reduced tuition as a result of my husband working inside of there. Also, 100% of the staff in our kids' school all have kids in the school. Every single teacher has a child. Every single one. So their whole model is based on that. So it's not unheard of. But the other thing is just ask the person for a deeper of their why, right? your only reason for sending care cannot be to get reduced tuition, because you're going to burn out in 5 seconds. And that's what you need to tell the person, right? So it's, what else excites you about working here in our center? What else excites you about being part of this community, about being part of our vision and what we're doing here in childcare, about being part of our mission? What excites you about our values, right? In the school that my husband works in, the leader is constantly talking to them about, how can I help you build better lesson planning? How can I help you learn how to develop better classroom management skills, right? And they invest in their training, which he's super excited about. So I think it's also really connecting with the why, because if their only reason for sending is that, they're gonna burn out fast.
Honey, I agree with that. I
Yeah.
very much agree. And not only that, these are benefits. And I think somebody else just posted, we offer 95% medical coverage, and the staff does not realize it. I think, something I've learned is we have a monthly town hall, and anytime we add a new feature or benefit in our compensation, we are talking about it, and we are comparing it to Glassdoor. We are
Yeah.
talking about how advantageous this is. A childcare credit or a childcare benefit for your staff, it pulls so many levers, right? Like if you're paying them at market, and then you're reducing their child care liability by $1,000 a month, or whatever the actual raw number is. I think there needs to be a number of tools that show that, and really kind of emphasize that at scale on a monthly basis, on a weekly basis. We talk about those things. We want to assure
Right.
that these good things go recognized.
I also think you need to look at it from the perspective of really creating profit warriors, is what I call them. And so, especially with your directors, it's like, okay, you're getting paid at market value and you're getting reduced tuition. How are you 3xing your salary as a result of getting this? What are your metrics in association with driving profit for the organization? Are you responsible for filling X amount of spots, and then you get the tuition credit, or you get more of that, or whatever it is? Like, really, especially with your directors. Your directors have to be profit warriors. They have to be people that drive profit for the organization. They cannot just be suckers of payroll and child tax, like, and child credit. Like that's not a business. Now you're running like now you're just running an expensive hobby that's just draining yourself to the ground, right? So creating metrics associated with that and saying, listen, you're getting paid at market value and we're doing this for you. What would you like to do? How would you like to contribute to the school? This is how I'm contributing to make your life better. This is how I'm contributing to your lifestyle. This is how the school is taking care of you. How are you taking care of the business? Right? I see this all the time. Like, the people need to take care of the business so the business could take care of the people. It's a constant back and forth. So what are your skills and talents, and how are you going to take care of the business? Is the way that you take care of the business that you run the social media channel so I don't have to hire now an additional person? Great. Now you've added value. Is your value going to be that now you're going to do this, and now, that reduced in my X, overhead expense. So now you've brought, 2x your salary. And these are accountability conversations. These are uncomfortable conversations. I just had with my podcast manager. She wanted she wanted like a huge raise, and I was like, listen, I need you to show me that you can drive these numbers, and I will happily give this to you, but show me what you can do. Right? And here's what I'm going to take care of you. You have access to any training under the sun on how to be better at podcast management. Buy any course that you want. I will pay for it. And as you develop your skill set through the company, you're going to become a more valuable employee. Right? So it's taking the time to have those conversations. So here's what I want to do, because I want to bring everything full circle. We're here at the top of the hour. I want you to think about, just like you want staff buy-in, staff want to be part of something. Every human being wants meaning and purpose in their life. Every human being wants to be part of something. We are community creatures. We are social animals. We need to be together. We want to be together, right? The best story that I love to talk about is this person went to the market, and he went over to this lady who had a whole bunch of bananas in her station. He's like, I want to buy all your bananas. And she's like, buy all my bananas, but then what am I going to do today? Like, he was ready to pay her a full day's worth within the first 20 minutes of market day. But she's like, but but then I have nothing to do today. People come to work not just to get paid. People come to work to be part of finding meaning, finding purpose, connection, relationships, collaboration, friendship. So give them a reason to come and contribute, right? And for each of you, it's going to be different. The second thing I want you to think about is really creating a culture of gratitude. If you have not listened to that podcast episode, episode 3 on our Schools of Excellence podcast, go listen to it. Download the Teacher's Language of Appreciation. Implement that in your classroom, in your centers. You are going to see a difference. And then the third thing is make time for one-on-ones. Sit eyeball to eyeball with a teacher. Close your door, turn off your phone, close the browsers, look at the teacher and say, the next 20 minutes are yours. I am here for you. I want to hear what's going on, and ask them these questions. So, would love to hear your biggest insights from today. Scott, you can just wrap up here with anything that you want to share, but let me know your biggest insights. And if you're interested in joining us at our event in Florida, Scott's going to be there. Incredible experience. We've got a couple tickets left. Would love to see you guys there.
Yeah, thanks, Chanie. This has been wonderful. And again, I know everybody's seeking answers. We are in the most tumultuous staffing crisis that I've ever seen in my history in childcare. Which only dates back, 7 years. But I'm hearing from seasoned owners. I'm hearing, I was talking to an owner of a franchise that's one of our customers, and they've been in the business 50 years and they've never seen any, and they've evolved with, professional childcare. I think great entrepreneurs find ways, and this type of community is helping others. I sure as heck don't have the answers. I'm on the other side of things. I'm hiring engineers at rates I never thought would be possible. I didn't think. I see. I was at our board meeting yesterday. The American worker is just commanding a ton, and we've got to figure it out. We've all got to figure it out, and it goes from the very top CEOs and their compensation down to the minimum wage. God bless everybody. Yes. Let's love on each other. Let's help each other with solutions. And I'll close with this. Please, community is number one. Please reach out. Get to our shows. Get to where we can have community and talk to each other and balance each other out and bounce off ideas off each other. Number two, share the tools that are making you successful with other owners. We're all in this together, and if all tides rise, we all benefit. So with that, also just love on your employees. They're doing such great work. We respect the heck out of you. Chanie and I have the privilege with working with the best entrepreneurs and managers on the planet. You all have hearts of gold. We are here to support you. That said, please let us know if there's anything we can do for you. And we will see you next time. Chanie, amazing job. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you all for your time and attention. I know that it's very scarce, so I appreciate it. And thank you all. And thanks, Scott and Marissa, for having me.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
All the best. Take care, everyone.